G'day, Roy, Sunland Caravans. Today we're going to do something just a little bit different. We like to deal with our local suppliers where we possibly can, whether they be part suppliers or local manufacturers. So today we decided we're going to go and visit one of our suppliers. Now, I'm going to take you to here, which is Caboolture Discount Tyres at Morayfield. Every Sunday, a lot of people will know David by going to the Sunday markets, which is just down the road. Every Sunday you'll find David there, sitting on his chair, having a donut and a cup of coffee and a chat about tyres to all and sundry that'll come through. So he's a bit of a local identity, I guess you'd say. I've known David for more years than I care to remember, but I use David specifically to say A, he's local, B, his knowledge is fantastic, and look, why am I waffling on? Let's go and meet David. Okay, David, how are you?
G'day Roy, welcome to Caboolture Tyres.
Thank you, mate. Hey, do you mind if we have a bit of a chinwag?
Not at all.
Now, David, you and I have known each other now for more years than I care to remember.
Long time.
Yeah, and you've had a lot to do with tyres in that time.
Yes.
How long have you actually been here at Caboolture Discount Tyres?
At this particular location, we've been here 3 years.
Okay, and in that last 3 years you've been helping us at Sunland supplying our wheels and tyres?
Well, yeah, we've been supplying you with wheels and rims.
Yep.
And tyres and all the different bits and pieces that you need.
Good stuff. I was saying before when I was outside having a chat with the folks that you've become a bit of a local identity now, being at the Caboolture market every Sunday.
Yeah. Well, it's an opportunity to meet people away from here so that they feel comfortable when they just want to talk tyres. We don't sell tyres there, but we meet a lot of people and we can generate some business. Excellent.
So obviously over the years that I've known you, even though you've only had this for 3 years, you've been involved in the tyre game in one way, shape or form for more years than we care to mention.
30 odd years.
30 odd years, yeah. So we actually get our tyres specifically for caravans. Can you tell me what the difference is between caravan tyres versus car tyres?
Well, there's only limited tyres on the market. So what we try and do is find out what your specifications are, then find a tyre that will fit and that will perform and that will give you longevity.
Yeah.
So we look for a load rating.
Yep.
We look for an inflation parameters, low to high, and then we also look for a quality tyre that's going to give you longevity in a towing situation.
Great, because a lot of people like to put big balloon tyres and chunky tyres on caravans, and I for one for years have been telling them, why do you need chunky tyres on a caravan? I mean, all it's really going to do is throw mud and stones up. It's not actually, because it's not a driven wheel, it's not really doing anything.
Well, that's the problem. It's not a driven wheel, exactly. It's a trailer. The idea is to keep it parallel behind the vehicle it's towing. That's its criteria.
Yeah.
So it doesn't wobble all over the road behind you. Its traction value is nil.
Yeah.
So we're looking for a pattern that's going to grip in all circumstances as best we can. Obviously, in off-road situations, you don't do 80 kilometres an hour. You do a lot less than that because you're in a mud situation or a dirt or stone situation.
So you're deflating the tyres, obviously, in those conditions.
Yes.
So you need a really good, strong sidewall.
Well, you need a strong tyre. It's called a load rating these days. But we need a tyre that can perform in different pressures. Most tyres go up to 50 psi. The ones we fit at Sunland go up to 80.
David, one of the mysteries that seems to come up every now and again, and we read about this on the forums, is the life of a tyre. My understanding is that they've all got a life expectancy and it's stamped on the tyre or marked on the tyre?
A date is stamped on the tyre by law in Australia. It must have a date stamped when it was manufactured. And the rule of thumb is round about 5 to 6 years of age, the tyre is now ready to start to delaminate because it's going back to as it was before it was manufactured. So it depends where the tyre's kept and what conditions it's been in. You've got to remember that on these Australian conditions on roads during the summer, the tarmac gets up to 140 degrees.
Yeah.
And then you leave the tyre in the summer, in the open, that's hard conditions. You've got to have good quality to cope with that, and that's what we supply.
David, do you have any views on tyre pressure monitoring systems? Have you got any thoughts on whether or not people should or shouldn't have those?
There's two schools of thought. One school of thought is it gives you a warning if you have a puncture. The second is that if you have a low pressure, it will tell you also. That makes you lazy. Tyres should be looked at. If you're going to go check them every month, you not only inflate them to the pressure that they want, because tyres will naturally deflate. You leave the tyre alone for 12 months, there'll be no air in it.
Yeah.
Like the old push bikes. Remember, you use your push bike for a while,
Yeah.
you come back to tyres.
Yeah.
It's just rubber molecules are bigger than air molecules.
So how often would you suggest people check the tyres?
Every trip.
Every trip, yeah.
And if you're going on a long trip, you want to be checking them every morning. Same as you would do on your car, same as you would do on your oil and water.
Okay.
And your wallet.
Yeah, and your wallet. So, you know, which brings me back to a subject that I'm constantly having with my owners and prospective customers about matching wheels and tyres on, and my view is that you should have different tyres on your caravan to what you have on the car, so that mix and matching like that probably isn't a real good thing. But a lot of people like to do it because of the possibility of punctures, you know. But again, we don't tend to see a lot of punctures. However, I believe you do see a lot of punctures because you do a free puncture service for everyone that comes in here, don't you?
We do a free puncture service, but we're trying to put service back into the industry, which I think is lacking in a lot of places. When you used to fill up with petrol, they would check your oil and your water.
Yeah.
Now they want to sell you a Mars bar. It's totally nothing to do with motor cars. So we put puncture repairs here as a priority. As far as going from a caravan to a tyre, when they are matched together, if the towing vehicle is changed, we now have a mismatch.
Yes, of course. So they do it up front, get it set up with a current tow vehicle, then change the tow vehicle and...
You're back where you started.
Back where you started,
so
yeah.
You're better off having your caravan standing up on its own 2 feet,
yeah,
and your motor car standing up on its own 2 feet. I know when I go out west and out bush, I always take 2 spares.
Yeah.
That's for my car. Whatever I'm driving, I take 2 spares. For a caravan, you should have at least 1 spare, and it should stand up on its own 2 feet.
Yeah.
That's how the tyre was designed, for that caravan, not for how they manufactured your car.
Exactly. And with caravan, well, certainly with, again, the Sunland brand, where we use the Cruise Master independent suspension, we can actually still tow that vehicle in emergency with 1 or even 2 wheels removed, 1 each side, of course.
That's correct, yeah.
Well, of course, you can't do that with a car. So it's really looking after the car is our #1 focus. So if you were carrying an additional spare, it would be for the car, not for the caravan.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fantastic stuff. Look, David, thank you very much for spending time and having a bit of a chit chat with us. Hey, if you're in this area at all, coming through Caboolture, or ever in need of wheels or tyre advice, or hey, especially to buy tyres, of course, come and see David here at Caboolture Discount Tyres. Friendly face, knows his stuff, look after you well. As I say, or as David said, service is his #1. Look, come on down and see David at Caboolture Discount Tyres. Thanks, David.
Thank you, Royce. Nice to see you again.
No, my pleasure.